What's up, guys? Welcome back. NFL Week 8. NFL Week 8 heading into halfway point, almost halfway point of the year. Crazy how fast it's gone by. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. Hope this will be a great end of the weekend for Sunday football. Before we get started, of course, to mention our three sponsors for the show. Starting off with the guys over at PickCity.com. Get the best picks over at PickCity.com from some of the most respected handicappers in the business. Next is going to be a team over at StatBets. They drop some of the best CLB plays in the business. You can get full access into their full Discord for as little as $100 today. Head over to statbets.com and start winning now. Our final sponsor is going to be Player Profit. Player Profit is a company and a website where you can get a funded sports betting account. Two challenges you need to pass on playerprofit.com and get funded up to $100,000. It's really that simple. Prove you are a successful sports bettor by passing the challenge, and you can bet completely funded. You keep 70% of everything you make. Head to playerprofit.com to get started and use code GGS for 10% off any package. The code is available multiple times, so if you don't pass the first try, no worries. You can use it again. Use code GGS for 10% off today. All right, Shane. Week 8's here. Crazy how fast the season is going by. Let's get right into it here. Divisional game in Cleveland. We got Baltimore heading up to Cleveland today with the first game in the Jameis Winston era for this year. Any difference in terms of, the questions were offense, offense, O-line, O-line, O-line. You think Jameis brings a different tune to this offense in terms of maybe being a winning football team going forward?
I don't know about winning football, but the offense isn't going to be absolute dog water. I mean, we just saw it last week. He came in for less than a quarter, and he was moving the ball down the field. He's playing a Ravens secondary that is atrocious right now. Winston, it doesn't really matter who's out there for Winston. He's just going to feed the ball to people. He's a gunslinger. He's going to throw it. Since leaving Tampa, he's not been good covering. And even when he was in Tampa, he wasn't that good at covering. He's 0-3 ATS as a starter since 2022. It's tricky, though, because the Ravens are known for blowing big leads and not really covering these big numbers under Lamar. We've seen it this year. They blow double-digit leads left and right. So the spread here is something I wouldn't touch, and especially in AFC North matchups, underdogs tend to cover in these spots, but It's hard to take Winston in his first actual game. I think there's going to be a lot of points this game, so if I were to take something, I would take the over, just because of how bad the Ravens secondary is and then how electric the Ravens offense is. But if I were to lean aside, I guess depending on what the line is, I'd probably take just the Browns with the points. But I would much rather just take the over.
Yeah, you get Baltimore. They lead the league in receiving touchdowns by the opposing team. So maybe a Jerry Jeudy game today, possibly. Maybe we'll see him get some action today. But yeah, I think points are here today. I think the Browns defense has been lackluster for what they're expected to be this year. Lamar has been on fire on that side of the football. He's playing an MVP caliber once again. Yeah, I see points. I don't know if Cleveland can hang in to the very end. Maybe a first half spread for this Cleveland team. I think towards the end of the game, I think Baltimore legs it out a little bit. I don't see this game being relatively close. I just think a lot of points are being scored. So a rare AFC North divisional, somewhat shootout possibly today with the Browns and the Ravens. All right, Titans at Detroit. Again, another gross game. Lions laying a huge number here at -12. This has jumped from, I think, opened at around 10.5, 11, all the way up to 12 now. Pretty simple. Titans team is just not good. Bottom tier team against a team who's on fire. They said last week, 1 and 2 in my power rankings heading into this week. They're still at number 1 this week because they're just playing great football on both sides. We saw Buffalo dismantle this team last week in the second half. I don't think we're going to see too much different going to this game. I think Lions blow this team out pretty easily at home. Jared Goff in a dome. I'll lay the number here with 12.
Yeah, Operation Fade the Titans is a go. The Lions are just a buzzsaw right now, ripping through people at this point. Jared Goff looks unstoppable. The Titans lose DeAndre Hopkins now. I don't know if that really does for what was their offense because they can't really throw the ball. Lions are great at stopping the run, and the Titans try to lean on the run with Pollard. I don't know how the Titans score more than 13 points in this game.
Yeah.
I think the Lions just rain it on them again through the air or on the ground. It doesn't matter that Jameson Williams is suspended again already. Again. Just don't overthink this. Take the Lions.
Yeah, I think you see a big Gibbs game today out of the backfield. I think he catches a couple too. Titans lead the league in allowed reception touchdowns by a running back, so perfect spot for him today. If you want to put him in DFS. But yeah, I think Titans blow this team out of the water at home. It's a Campbell team, so no reservation in terms of respect there for the other team. So he'll blow this team out easily and just keep pouring it on. I think Goff has another great game against this, not so great defense that we were expecting to be probably a little bit better than what they are. They're not terrible, but they're just not to the point where they're keeping this offense afloat. So lay the number here. Take the under too, I think, in this game too. I don't see Tennessee scoring too many points. I think the total is around 41, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, lay the under there. And lay the gross number here with Detroit. All right, Green Bay taking on Jacksonville in Jacksonville. This line has moved significantly towards Jacksonville, which I don't understand. I don't necessarily agree with either, but people much smarter than Shane and I are definitely on Jacksonville today. This line opened up around 4.5, I think it was. Mm-hmm. I have this team winning by 5. Green Bay, by 5 today in Jacksonville. I think it's an awful matchup for Jacksonville's defense today against Green Bay. They allow the most passing touchdowns to the opposing quarterbacks heading into Week 8. I think Jordan Love has a field day with this team. I have this team, like I said, winning by 5. I think 3.5 is pretty generous, and this line has been continuing to drop, from 4.5 to 4. Not on the 3.5 in most books. So unless I'm wrong, and like I said, people much smarter than me are betting Jacksonville. I think this line's going the wrong way. So if you like Green Bay like I do, if you want to wait to see if you can get a 3 towards tip or towards kickoff, I would wait because I think 3 is a good number here for Green Bay. Yes, it's going the wrong way in terms of that, but yeah, I like Green Bay here.
Yeah, something's weird about this number, and when you see a weird line, you usually should take the weird side. I don't know what it like. The Jaguars coming off of 2 games in London, traveling back to Jacksonville off no bye of any sort, playing a team that can score a lot on offense, and the line's only 3. It smells like a trap, so I'm just I'll bite into the trap and I'll take the Jaguars here. Packers are my team, which I have them winning the Super Bowl, but Jordan Love, the way he's playing, he's gunslinging it, but he's doing it at an inefficient rate. He's a way better Anthony Richardson throwing the ball right now. He's only completing 56% of his passes, but he's hitting the deep ones. At some point, that needs to some positive or negative regression needs to hit in terms of that. And with the line how it is, it seems like people think that this is the spot.
Yeah. Jaguars in desperation mode, off a win in Jacksonville, off a win and beating the worst team in football, or one of them in New England. But hey, maybe that sparks some confidence into this team. Maybe it sparks some confidence into Trevor Lawrence. But it's been rough sledding for them, and I think it's just a bad matchup for Jacksonville here. All right, next one. This is gonna be my dog of the week. This is my player profit free play of the week on the player profit Discord. I have the Colts here plus the 4.5. To be honest, this should have been a play for me for my VIP at 6.5. I had this game Houston 23-20, so I should have played it at 6.5. Got scared. I got scared of the Colts, literally. So this line has dropped now 2 whole points to 4.5. I agree with the line movement here. Like I said, I have Houston by 3 in this game. So I give this out for free on the Player Profit Discord channel at 4.5, and here's why. So we've seen Houston get by, and it finally bit them in the ass a little bit last week with just how bad the offense has been. And I've been saying this now for 3 weeks. This offense is just as bad as Indy's offense, I think. If you look at teams getting lucky, I think this is the luckiest team in football. The Texans have just feeded off turnovers by the opposing team. Last week, the Texans in the first half scored off every turnover the Packers had. They had 2 picks and a fumble off a muff punt, the Packers, I'm saying, and the Houston Texans scored on every single turnover they had. So the Texans scored 16 points on those 3 turnovers. They led the game 19-14 at half. It should have been a 14-3 lead at half for the Packers if they didn't turn the ball over. And then the second half, the Texans scored 3 points on 6 first downs with no turnovers by Green Bay. So I don't know what's going on with this team in terms of offense. Yes, Nico Collins is not there, but they still have great weapons on offense. They still have Steph Diggs. They still have Tank Dell. They still have Dalton Schultz. Still have Joe Mixon. They still have plenty of weapons to where it shouldn't be that hard to move the football, and they're just not. They're not scoring points. They're scoring points. They're just not obtaining. They're obtaining points the way that's not going to be successful towards the end of the year when you start playing these good teams. And I'm not saying the Colts are good, but I don't think the Colts are 6.5, let alone 4.5 point dogs against this team. We saw this Colts team in week 1 play this team tough down the stretch, lost by 2 in Indy. I know Shane has some crazy stats with the Colts in Houston this year. I did see they're 6-1-1 straight up in Houston the last 7 games with that one tie a couple years ago. So Colts off back-to-back wins, coming to Houston hungry for that division title. And like I said, I said preseason. I said this Texas team to take a step back, and they haven't yet because they've been getting by pretty lucky. But I think Colts win this game outright. My model has it Houston by 3, but I think the margin of error here for Houston is very small in terms of moving the ball on offense, keeping the time of possession. I think Colts can do that today with the run game, with Taylor back, not leaning on Richardson too much. But if they need a big play, he can definitely chuck it in the field and get that huge play. But I think Taylor controls the game today, and I'll take the Colts plus the 4.5 and sprinkle that money line just a little bit for the Indy Colts.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Colts spread. I don't know if I can go as far as say outright win, but Colts 10-1-1 ATS on the road in Houston since 2013. Houston offense has not looked good the past few weeks. Nico Collins is definitely the reason why that is, because we saw them putting up points in the first couple weeks. The way the Texans roll them is just run the ball with Mixon, but I think because they see they have the big quarterback, CJ Stroud, they have Diggs, they have Dell, they're going to want to pass the ball a lot, and the Colts secondary isn't that good, but the Texans haven't been able to capitalize on their, quote, high-powered offense right now. Picking Anthony Richardson just to win games outright is just a gross feeling because he can't throw the ball. It's alarmingly bad how bad he can't throw the ball. I think he's under 50% completion percentage on the year.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen him cook on the Houston defense before, including this year, so he can do it. It's just a matter of if he can actually hit the throws. I sneaky like the over in this game because these teams know each other a lot. We've seen each quarterback dice up this other defense. I don't know if the Texans can continue to do it. I don't know if Anthony Richardson can do it, but I would bank on it because what we've seen as Anthony Richardson against the Texans team this year and last year is that he can do it. I think the Colts do enough to cover. I see this as a field goal game. Maybe Fairbairn at the buzzer, but I'll take the Colts with the points here.
Love it. All right. Moving on to the Jets at the Patriots. Jets laying a big number today on the road. Jets by 7 at New England. I'm going to tell you, I don't agree with the spread. I think the Jets are just really underperforming here in terms of numbers. I have this game closer to a field goal. I could be really wrong on this one. I'm not taking the pass. I just think it's a bad spot for Drake May here. Yes, he's playing at home. Yes, he had a great couple games to start his career. It's awesome. But he's playing a Jets defense who's experienced, Jets defense who's hungry, a Jets team who's desperate to win this game to save whatever they have left of the season. So yeah, I think that's why the number is so high here. But I have the Jets by 3. Don't love it. I would not put the Pats plus 7. People are saying the Pats can win this game. I don't see that at all. I think this New England defense is not good. I think their offense can move the ball through the air, but we've seen teams beat the Jets through the run game, and I don't think the Patriots have that today. So I'm going to lean the under here. I think the Patriots can keep it close in terms of not allow a touchdown, maybe allow a bunch of yards and hold them to field goals. And I don't see the Patriots putting too many points with a rookie quarterback in a home divisional rivalry game with a team who can't really run the ball too well. So, yeah, I'll take the under here. I lean New England. I don't love it at all. I think Jets win this game. But yeah.
So I don't think there's much more of a must-win game than right here for the Jets. If they lose this game, Aaron Rodgers might retire after the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you lose, was it 4 straight at this point if they lose?
Yep.
After firing your coach, you get Aaron Rodgers' best friend to come on the team. Like you can't lose this game against the worst, if not second worst team in football. I would say second worst. The Panthers right now are just an abysmal piece of work. 7 is a tricky number, especially in a divisional game. Teams coming off an international game on short rest are 16-8 straight up and 13-11 ATS in their next game.
Wow.
Which is another reason why I kind of like the Jaguars because they also fit that trend. I don't think both of them come out and win. But seeing the Patriots cover wouldn't be a surprise. You touchdown at home. But like the Jets have to have such a fire lit under them for this game. Because now that Tua's back, the race in at least the AFC East or even the AFC wild card just became a lot harder.
Yep.
Like you have to win this game. You have to win the next few games if you're the Jets. If the Jets lose this game, it's a lost season. I'm probably not going to pick them unless they play the Panthers. I don't know what other team would be better than them in that instance. So the Jets should honestly lay it on this Patriots team, but like that 7 point, you can't touch the 7 point. I would take the under in this game if I were to take a side or take something.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a gross game. Hopefully, the next couple of years, it's going to be better with the Patriots. Getting better with Drake May. I think Drake May's played pretty good his first couple of games. I mean, I'm not gonna hate the guy. He's thrown I think 5 touchdowns for 3 games. Turnovers were an issue in the first game. Second half of the game last week it was kind of tough. I think the Jaguars adjusted. I don't know what exactly adjustments they made, but he did look to struggle in the second half. Hopefully he can bounce back here at home. Next game is going to be the Eagles at the Bengals. Sneaky good game today. Both teams underperforming to say the least to start the year. Bengals starting to pick it up a little bit, I think. Eagles were my Super Bowl pick, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think this team's a mess from inside in terms of coaching. I don't think Jalen and the coach are in line with what play calling wants to be. Might be an instance where there's too much talent, too many big names, too many egos on this team to be a team. So this will be a test for Philly, traveling to Cincy, getting 2.5 points. Bengals are now without T. Higgins, so this line has probably dropped.
I think it went down to 2.5.
Well, it was at 2.5.
It was. Well, when I checked earlier, I thought it was 3. That's why it was.
It's still at 2.5.
All right. It might go down to probably
So
2.
we obviously talk about key numbers a lot in football, right? So key numbers of 0, 3, 7, 10, 14, 17, 21. So you're getting the Bengals under a key number. Yes, they're without T. Higgins, which is a big loss. Big loss for me, too, in my fantasy team. But I like Cincy here. I think Cincy gets away with the win at home. I don't trust this Eagles defense at all. I think I trust the Bengals front seven to control Jalen Hurts better than I can to say about the Eagles controlling Joe Burrow and the Bengals in the passing game. So I'll lay the 2.5 here. There's no lean for me in terms of edge, in terms of numbers I have here. But I think Bengals at home can get a W. Maybe I'm going to guess a high-scoring game, like 27-24 type of game. But yeah, I have Bengals winning this game and covering the 2.5.
I'm also regardless of the T. Higgins news, Bengals. Joe Burrow, apparently a monster after facing the Browns. 5-1-1 straight up and 6-1 ATS after facing the Browns. 22-5-1 ATS when facing a team that covered the previous week.
Wow.
Which the Eagles after dismantling the Giants. And then Joe Burrow is sneakily the next NFC killer. He's the next Lamar. He's 10-2 straight up versus the NFC since 2022. 10-1 in his last 11. This is battle of good offense, or should be good offenses with questionable defenses. So I will just take the home team with the better quarterback. It's kind of the thought process. The under seems to be a trend in this game. Actually, Jalen Hurts is 20-11 to the under on the road in his career, 10-3 in his since last season. Which also kind of fits the two bad or questionable or bad defenses play each other than the under hits. I have this 24-20 Cincinnati. Jamar Chase should now have a monster day with T. Higgins out against the Eagles secondary. And then I think the Eagles might try to lean on Saquon, but then they're going to have to be forced to pass. And sorry, don't trust Jalen Hurts passing the ball still, even though he's getting paid all the money. So I'll take Cincy here.
All right, another divisional game here. You have the Falcons taking on the freaking injured Bucks. Holy Christ. Bucks are without Godwin, obviously, with that horrific injury we saw in prime time. They're also without Mike Evans through probably week 11. But somehow this spreads at 2. And I didn't make a number for this game because how do you base this offense in Tampa Bay off what we're going to see this week? It's going to be totally different with their top 2 weapons gone. It's going to be a running back show in Kate Otten, looks like, with maybe a little McMillan at the end of it. But this number keeps dropping, and it's scary as hell. It dropped from 2.5 to 2 this morning. So it looks like the pros are on the Bucks somehow, some way. Does Baker find a way to win this game against this Falcons D? Possibly. I think Atlanta's another lucky team that's getting by doing the bare minimum here. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bucks pull it off. But these injuries, I think, have to play some type of role in this game for Tampa Bay. So I'm going to lay the 2 here with the Falcons. I think this could be a field goal game down the stretch. I just don't see how Tampa Bay can keep it close, especially with how bad their defense has played the last couple weeks here. They gave up 5 passing touchdowns to Lamar last week, who is not known for his passing. And you're playing a pocket-heavy QB in Kirk Cousins this week, who has played pretty well, with the pass, and he's firing at all cylinders with Drake London, Kyle Pitts, with Bijan in the backfield. So it's tough for me to take the 2 here and feel happy about it. So I'm going to lay the 2 points with Atlanta, and they probably sneak out a road division win here.
Yeah, I'm taking the Falcons here. I'm not trusting Tampa to run the score up with McMillan, Trey Palmer as your top receivers. Falcons will cover 2 straight in Tampa Bay. We just saw Kirk Cousins carve this defense for over 500 yards. I'm not saying he's going to go for 500 again, but he can very easily probably get to 300. This Buck secondary is atrocious, seeing that we saw Lamar cook them. I think the Bucks are just like at an all-time low right now. The Falcons are running hot. I would say probably take some Drake London overs because he always cooks the Bucks every single game that they play. I think the Falcons might like trounce them in this game. Red hot Falcons team, Bucks team down in morale and just like play style wise. Somehow almost pulling off a backdoor cover against the Ravens because the Ravens again love blowing leads. Yeah, there's just no shot I'm taking the Bucks here. I can't.
Yeah, it's just tough. I mean, obviously, the line says differently. This says that Tampa Bay is a favorite at home, which is just crazy to me with all these injuries. So something's either we're just wrong or something's up with either Atlanta or I don't know. Something's weird here. The line doesn't make much sense, which we've said in the past. We go the weird way, but I just can't. I mean, we saw this team fight really hard with Tampa Bay towards the end of the game without Evans and Godwin. But you have a team with Atlanta who's got a defensive-minded head coach who's in Raheem Morris, who's got a whole week to prepare for this team. And these weapons that aren't going to scare you on paper. So, yeah, I think Atlanta's the play here. It definitely is gross and not something I want to put my money on. If this game was like Falcons minus 3.5, I feel much better about the Falcons. But, yeah, you're laying 2 here with a against an injured team in Tampa. So, yeah, grossness is the right word for that game. Terrible. All right, Cardinals at the Dolphins. Shane is the trend guy, but I have one of my favorite trends going to this game tonight. And I found this a couple years ago, and it's been really profitable. Kind of a crazy trend. It actually lost a couple weeks ago with the Saints and the Chiefs. But it's on an 18-3-1 streak heading into today. I think I've told Shane this one before. Since 2019, when an NFC road dog is playing at an AFC favorite, so the Cardinals, the road NFC dog, playing at Miami, who is an AFC favorite, and the line is between 4 and 6 for that road dog, the NFC team is 18-3-1 ATS and 12-9-1 straight up. 18-3-1 against the spread. Now, is there a reason why? Absolutely not. It's just something that I found a couple years ago, and I've been following it. And the Cardinals, I think, are pretty profitable in this system. Cardinals are the best team in this system over the past couple of years with Kyler Murray. So, yeah, I like the Cardinals here. I think they kind of rain on the parade here of Tua coming back. We've seen Kyler and the offense play pretty well. And against the Miami defense, who has not played well at all. Obviously, injuries come into play with that too. But I could see Cardinals putting up some points here against this Miami defense. So I'm going to take the 4. You can still get some 4.5s out there too, I think. I take the 4. Maybe it's a field goal game down the stretch. And Miami sneaks out a win with Tua at a field goal. But I like the points here at 4. Again, weird number, right? 4 points, not a key number in football. So I'll take the points and just sprinkle that money line just a little bit there for Arizona.
How does that trend work when Call of Duty just releases a couple days before?
Hey, he's partners with them now. They can't screw him like that.
Well, if he's playing the game long enough, he's screwing himself.
Whatever. That's the Call of Duty stat. I like this one.
Yeah, we know Kyler Murray is kind of doo-doo after or when Call of Duty drops, and it just dropped Friday. So this is the first game of the season with Call of Duty fresh in his hands. Kyler Murray's 0-2 on the road on short rest in his career, coming off a Monday night game. This Cardinals defense allowed Justin Herbert to throw for almost 400 yards with an already bad set of weapons, and they were out a bunch of their guys. Will Dissly almost went for 100.
Yeah.
Josh Palmer had a game. He threw for almost 400 yards, and now you have Tua, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle going to cook this defense apart. I can't go with the Cardinals here. I think the Dolphins are going to be all right, we're going to get back on track. We've looked like an absolute shit show for the past month and a half. We need to fucking figure it out. This is probably the perfect spot. You're at home. Crowd's going to be buzzing with Tua finally back. I think they try to get Tyreek and Waddle involved early and often. I wouldn't be surprised if they each have over 100 yards, each have a touchdown. And this offense just works so much better with an actual quarterback. Who would have thought? Uh, I'm just gonna rock the Dolphins here. The matchup just screams Miami.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, Tua's back. Tyreek Hill's playing. Waddle's still there. The offense still there. I just worry about the defense for Miami. Defense on both sides is tough. But yeah, I'll hit the points here. Sneaky game for the Cardinals, I think. All right, this is my one VIP play of the Sunday slate. We had Minnesota on Thursday, which obviously didn't go in our way. So we have to bounce back here with the Bills laying the 3. This line hasn't moved an inch, which is surprising with the DK Metcalf injury news. But yeah, Bills -3 at Seattle. I make this game Bills minus. Give me 1 second. Bills -6 here, so just about a touchdown. I think it comes down to just defense. Seattle, yes, has picked it up over the past couple weeks, but it's more on Buffalo's defense. Buffalo's defense against the pass has been really good, and they're playing as one of the best units of football with injuries on that side of the ball too. They're not fully healthy, and they're still playing pretty well. And then on offense, I mean, Josh Allen. How do you pick against Josh Allen right now? Josh Allen, no interceptions through 7 weeks, playing at an MVP caliber, quarterback play, which has been the norm for him the past couple of years, but he's stepped up even more this year. James Cook has become one of the best weapons in football for him. And he's spreading the ball around too. He's gotten Shakir involved, Dawson Knox, Kincaid, Keon Coleman, which has been a nice little addition to them from the draft. And I think it's just a bad matchup for Seattle. They come in not healthy. DK is going to be out most likely. And that defense is just still a question mark for me. So I think Buffalo with Josh Allen, with the poise he brings in the quarterback play, in the pocket. I think like I said, he can scramble if trouble gets to him. But I think that O-line's been playing pretty decent. And this front seven, which is now healthy, Murphy's back, which is good for them. But I think Seattle just poses too many problems for Seattle on both sides of the football here. So we laid the 3. Still love the 3. It's getting juicy a little bit on FanDuel. I think it's up to -120, so maybe you'll get the 3.5 by kickoff. But this is definitely the best game in the 4:00 slate, and I love Buffalo here on the road.
Yeah, I'm on Buffalo here. Josh Allen is 4-1 straight up ATS when playing in Mountain Time or Pacific Time. It's good playing outside of that Eastern Time zone. Gino 3-8 ATS at home since last season. 5-9 ATS his last 14 as an underdog. He loses his number one weapon in DK Metcalf. Bills getting more acclimated with Amari Cooper, getting another week there. He literally didn't know what route to run on the touchdown he scored last week. Keon Coleman had to tell him while in line before the snap what to run, and he still scored. I like points in this game. Both offenses have shown a way to move the ball. Geno Smith, I think, still leads the league in passing yards at this point. I think more so it's going to be a ground game from Seattle because you can kind of run on this Buffalo team.
Yep.
So big Kenneth Walker day. Would have hated to have traded him this week to somebody else in this on this show. But no, the Bills are just on a roll right now. It's hard to pick against them. Seahawks look like the definition of a middling team. Like they play decently well against the bad teams, but when they face the good teams, they kind of get shown out. And the Bills are just one of those good teams right now. So yeah, give me Buffalo and the over.
I just want to state that I gave you Ken Walker, but you also gave me Deebo Samuel now with no Brandon.
No, I gave you Jaden Reed in that one. You gave me the Saquon and the Deebo deal.
Oh, sorry, that one, yeah. Anyways, we'll get back to business here. I think if Buffalo gets out to a big lead, I think this game's over. I don't think Seattle's going to throw in this defense to get back in the game. I think you'll see Geno try to force the ball too much, and it'll lead to turnovers. DeMar Hamlin has been playing one hell of a season so far. He's been all over the place, which is good for Buffalo. I think he's become a leader on that defense. And I think if Buffalo gets out to a 10 or even 13-point lead, and Buffalo gets that stop on third down when they're up 13, I think the game will start to get out of reach for Seattle. They lean their run game a lot, which Shane's right. This team can run on Buffalo. It's just, can they get off to a good start? And I think whatever team gets off to a good start will end up winning this game. So, and I'll take Buffalo in that aspect. So, lay the 3 with Buffalo. Get it now. I think it might go to 3.5. Has DK officially been ruled out yet, Tree?
I think they said he's running through warmups, but it's like 90% he's not playing.
So maybe if he gets ruled out, it'll jump to 3.5. So if you like Buffalo, I'd say get it now. Has been getting juice, like I said, in FanDuel, so you can still get minus 105, I think, for DraftKings. All right, the Saints at the Chargers. Saints don't know really who's playing. Obviously, Rattler is most likely playing quarterback there, but is Olave back, Shane?
Olave is back.
Okay, so he's back, which is a plus for Rattler there. Playing into Chargers defense, who's been playing lights out. Very good football. The defensive side of the ball, that's the Harbaugh defense right there. In my opinion, top 3 defense so far this year. Yes, they played an easy schedule to start the year, but you can only go off of what you see. I have this game Chargers by 5, so I lean New Orleans just a little bit, especially with Olave coming back. Chargers, not much of a home field advantage. I bet some Saints fans are going to travel to LA for this one. So it could be a sneaky little game here for the Saints to try to sneak one out in LA. Chargers are definitely due for a blunder here. But off a loss, I think Herbert gets him back in the win column. Harbaugh gets him back into winning form. So I like the Chargers here laying the 7. Like I said, the model doesn't really know who's playing for New Orleans yet, so the numbers are still off from beginning of the season with Derek Carr. I lay the 7 here with the Chargers. I think the run game should be pivotal for Chargers here at home, and I think the defense locks this rookie quarterback down. So lay the 7. I know it's gross. Good teaser spot, I think, for the Chargers here at minus 7. Get them down to minus 1 or whatnot. But yeah, I lean the 7 here.
The trends say to take the Saints here. However, I can't do it if Spencer Rattler is playing quarterback. I can't do it. This Saints running defense has looked like Swiss cheese the past month. I think they've allowed over a 100-yard rusher the past 4 weeks. Dennis Allen might be the worst head coach currently in football. And then you top that with him having Spencer Rattler playing quarterback against a Jim Harbaugh defense. I'll pass on that. Thank you. Give me the Chargers and the under. The under's at 41. I don't know how it's not at 36 because neither of these teams can really score a whole lot, and the Chargers have a good defense. I'll take the Chargers.
Yeah, it's a gross game. Not something I'll be looking at in terms of scores down the stretch in these 4 o'clock windows, but definitely a gross game here. All right, another divisional game here. We have the Chiefs, undefeated Chiefs, taking on the Raiders here. The newly acquired D-Hop playing for Pat Mahomes here. I actually think it's a great pickup for them. But we'll see how they mesh going forward. I think it'll be just fine. Chiefs laying a big number here, of course, with Minshew at quarterback. Laying 8.5 here in Vegas. This might be a game where we both overthink it, Shane. I know you probably both like the Raiders here on the spread. I think here's the issue. If this wasn't a divisional matchup, are we really taking the Raiders here?
The Chiefs don't cover big spreads. That's the issue. They just don't.
Yeah, but
they play up and down to opponents.
Not last week.
I mean, the Niners just Kyle Shanahan just can't play against great teams at this point.
I just don't want to overthink this game in terms of talent wise, not even close. Coaching wise, not even close. Quarterback, not even close.
Offensive weapons, the defense,
not even close. Yeah, but the defense for the Raiders has been suspect too.
I know, but Patrick Mahomes been suspect this year is the problem.
Yeah, you're right. This Raiders
Like, it's
defense
bad.
is not the Raiders defense. I mean, they're allowing a shit ton of yards. It's just not pretty on both sides. It's tough for me to take the 8.5. I'm gonna do it just because we've seen these Raiders and Chiefs games get some weird shit thrown at them. So I'm gonna take the 8.5, but I don't love it at all. I really don't.
The Raiders are actually the last team to beat the Chiefs. They beat them on Christmas last year, or like during the Christmas week last season. Dude, at one point this line was pushing like 10.
Yeah,
That was egregious, in my opinion. I think the Chiefs just look to run the ball because you can run on this Raiders team. Big Kareem Hunt day incoming. Good for you. I love the under in this game because both teams can't really score at a high rate. I know the Chiefs put up 28 last week, but like kind of an anomaly, in my opinion, because the Chiefs can't really move the ball passing. I don't know what's up with Patrick Mahomes.
yeah.
Like, he's droppable in fantasy. You don't like he's in waivers in some leagues, and then in our super flex league, and I've seen in others, people are still benching him.
Crazy.
Like, people like Drake May start Drake May over Patrick Mahomes at this point. That's a thing that's happening.
Yeah, he's 17th. He's 17th in passing yards, 22nd in touchdowns, 8 picks, ninth best QBR. That's just weird. Very
I
weird.
don't know what's going on, but they're still winning, obviously, because they're just built like a well-oiled machine with the defense and the coaching. And when Patrick Mahomes needs to make a play, he ends up making it just because that's just who he is. But home divisional dog at one point was getting close to 10 points. You could probably get it at 9 or 9.5, depending on what book you look at still. It's gross, I understand, but like I can't like the Chiefs blow. This is a typical Chiefs don't cover spot. This screams them not covering.
Trying to get last time the Chiefs were in for Raiders, the spread was almost the exact same at 9.5, and it was close at halftime. It was 14-14 at half, and then the Chiefs just turned it on in the second half. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think the Raiders defense will have to step up in this game to keep it close. If they do, it'll be a low scoring affair. Yeah, definitely a weird game. I think Chiefs obviously win the game. It's just by how much.
Yeah, the Chiefs are going to win, but I don't think it's going to be by close to 10 points.
All right, Shane.
I told you I'm done with them. They're retired especially with Bryce Young playing today.
Do you all see who he's throwing to today?
Oh yeah, there's no Deontay Johnson. Adam Thielen's been out. There's some like undrafted rookie receiver that they're throwing to.
Are you sure you don't want to get the 11?
Chuba Hubbard might get like negative fantasy points today. This is what we're cooking with here.
Are you sure you don't want to take the 11?
I am 100% sure I'm not going to probably pick the Panthers for the rest of the year. Unless the team they play is
an opportunity to take the Panthers one more time.
No, I can't.
Okay. As long as we're on the same page there.
I'm done.
But yeah, Denver here, I think it's the obvious choice. A lot of points for sure for a rookie quarterback at home. But man, this Panthers team might be one of the worst we've seen in NFL history. And it gets worse because you have your quarterback out because of a car accident. You have your two best weapons out because of injury. You have a defense who might be on paper and on statistics might be the worst defense we've ever seen. It's basically 7-on-7 play for the other team here. I think Bo Nix has one hell of a game here on the ground and through the air. I think Javonte Williams has one hell of a day. I think that's one of Shane's props today too for him. I think he gets in the end zone maybe once or twice. And I could see this game being like 30-10, 27-10. Like, this is going to be a gross game. I don't think Carolina stands any chance in this game whatsoever. Bryce Young playing with still no O-line. The O-line's not terrible, but still no O-line protection and nobody to throw to. I think it's a recipe for disaster for Bryce Young, and I think Denver walks away with a pretty comfy win here. All right. Shane, have you heard the news?
My boy Jaden Daniels is back. I need
He's
him.
probably going to play. This line has swapped 4 points the other way. That's how much Jaden Daniels means to the Commanders. This line has jumped 4 points to the right, and now Commanders are a 1 point favorite here. I have this game as a pick 'em, and mostly depending on the Bears defense. They've had a week to prepare for Jaden Daniels. They're playing, as a really good unit so far this year, especially in the red zone. They've given up some yards, but in terms of red zone, they held teams to field goals, which would be huge against this Commanders team. But yeah, I have this game as just about a pick 'em, a slight lean, like ever so slight lean to Chicago. Again, just because of the defense. But if Jaden Daniels is healthy, and we don't know how healthy he is, it's kind of hard to pick against this team right now at home on a roll.
Matt Eberflus is actually, I think, undefeated off the bye. I think he's 3-0 at this point off the bye. Again, we don't know the full health status
Yeah, we don't know.
Jaden Daniels. He got it in like one practice, and now they're throwing him out. Bears defense off a bye. The Commanders don't. Maybe they've known for a while that Jaden Daniels was going to play this week and just didn't announce it until like last night. I'm gonna still lean I'm gonna go with the Bears here. I think there's a trend out there when the number 1 and number 2 overall picks, when their quarterbacks they play each other, the number 1 overall guy ends up winning. We saw it last year. Bryce Young, his like only win last year was against C.J. Stroud and the Texans. Caleb's coming more into himself as the season goes on. He's looking like an actual quarterback. Jaden Daniels look great. This is just going to be a fun game to watch. Probably, I wouldn't probably pick a side, but I would lean Chicago.
Yeah, so would I. Just ever so slight lean. But man, that line just swung 4 points because he's back. He's back, and that's crazy for a rookie quarterback. It just shows how good he is and what we might see come down in the future in terms of his production. Crazy. 4 point swing for a rookie quarterback. I don't know if that's ever happened before. A rookie quarterback announced in, and the line moves 4 points. That's crazy. All right, Sunday Night Football. Now, we all wish this would be a good game, but I think it's going to be a fucking disaster. Dallas off a bye. Yes, I know. Mike McCarthy off a bye is so good. Blah, blah, blah. This is the worst team Mike McCarthy's ever coached. Okay, they're out the two best defensive players on defense in terms of Lawrence and Parsons. Dak Prescott has looked like a shell of himself to start the year because they did not want to invest in a weapon for him besides CeeDee Lamb on the offensive side of the ball. And I think the 49ers are pissed the fuck off. I think Kyle Shanahan's pissed. I think this is a great get-back game for him at home, off a home loss, laying a 5-point number here. I would lay this number all the way up to 6.5. I think this is a 10-point win for San Fran here. I have this game San Fran by 5 exactly, but I think with the added pressure of San Fran getting back on track, with Debo playing, with him back fully, or not fully, but he'll be back healthy, I presume. And this defense just needs to step up. And it's a great game for them to get back to what they're used to doing with the struggling Dallas offense. And it's just an awful Dallas defense on the run game and the pass game. So I think Mason has a big game for San Fran. I think Purdy controls the game here, and if he doesn't turn the ball over, this should be a comfy win for San Fran.
Yeah, the Cowboys are. I mean, both teams are kind of like really underperforming based off where we thought they would be in the preseason. But the Cowboys have been a wreck. I mean, the Niners are hurt. I get it, but Debo's playing, Kittle playing. You still have Jordan Mason, who's second in the league in rushing right now, going against a terrible Cowboys run defense. Dak has lost 3 straight games straight up in ATS to the Niners. He's 0-2 straight up in ATS versus the Niners at night. Cowboys are 3-8 ATS in their last 11. Yada, yada, yada. The Niners own the Cowboys. I think they will continue to own the Cowboys. Cowboys suck against good teams. We've seen this for years. This might be a shellacking from the Niners here tonight.
Yeah. I think so too. I like the Niners here on Sunday Night Football. Yes, the favorite's going to be a probably pretty popular play here with San Fran. But I don't think there's any other way to take it here. Like I said, I see this as a 10-point win for San Fran. Pretty comfy win. I think Mason gets the ball a lot this game. And as long as Purdy doesn't make too many mistakes, I think this game should be pretty well decided by the end of the third quarter. So, all right. My third VIP play of the week. Hopefully, we can go 1-0 with the Bills today and head out to Pittsburgh Monday Night Football and get a win there too. So we got this game Pittsburgh -4.5 on FanDuel. It has now jumped to 6.5 in some places. Not really much to say here, Shane. Right? I mean, the Giants are just a bad team. They're also horrible on primetime with Daniel Jones. And we saw a Pittsburgh team who took me by surprise with how good Russ played last week, facing a Giants defense who isn't terrible, but is not good, just to be honest. I have this game Pittsburgh -10. I think the home field advantage is pretty big for Pittsburgh here in a primetime game. Night game in Pittsburgh, pretty big. So yeah, pretty simple for me here. Lay the points here at Pittsburgh. Take the under, I think, too, as well in the primetime matchup. But yeah, lean Pittsburgh here pretty heavily with a VIP play at -4.5.
Someone needs to call a funeral home for Daniel Jones. He might die on the field.
Oh,
with TJ Watt coming after him. We just saw what happened with the Eagles pass rush against him. He got sacked like 7-8 times. Andrew Thomas not being here is showing fully, and now he's got the best pass rusher in the league coming after him. Russell Wilson looked great in his first game with the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
My New York teams just find ways to disappoint me left, right, and center. The Giants can't figure out shit to do. The Yankees, don't even get me started on them. Aaron Judge needs if we could trade Aaron Judge for like a bag of beans, I would probably do it at this point. Just abysmal. But Daniel Jones 1-15 straight up at night in his career. Russell Wilson 27-7 straight up when listed as a favorite in prime time. Just don't overthink it here. One team's red hot and good in prime time. The other team is injured in a key spot and is terrible in prime time. Just take the Steelers.
Yeah, pick the Steelers. All right, Shane, to wrap the show up, I'm going to let you say some props you have for this week.
Okay, we are 31-20 on the year. We're going to look to continue a hot streak. Let me just pull these up real quick. First one, I had Jameis Winston over 237.5 passing yards. Ravens defense, at least in the secondary, is terrible.
Yep.
We saw Winston hawking it last week against the bank. Who they play? I forget even who they played last week.
Who?
Either way, they were hawking it. The Browns.
To the Bengals.
But yeah, they were similar type of defense there, where the secondary is not that great. So Winston over 237. I think he's just going to throw it, and if they're down by a lot, he's going to have to throw a lot. Joe Mixon over 95.5 total yards. We saw him in week 1 absolutely murder this Colts defense. Mm-hmm. And I think they might look to lean on the run game here early and often because the passing game hasn't looked great the past couple weeks. They want to control clock against a divisional opponent. Raheem Mostert over 8.5 rush attempts. He's cleared this number, I think, almost at a 90% rate when Tua's there and he's healthy and not getting injured midway through the game. I think they don't want to give A-Chain the ball 16 times running it. They kind of want to do what the Lions do with a Montgomery give split, but not to that extent. They want A-Chain to get it more, but still Mostert's going to get his share. Kareem Hunt over 67.5 rushing yards. Raiders run game is terrible, or run defense is terrible. Chiefs lean on the run here, I think, in this game, especially big favorites. Mahomes hasn't been playing great. Kareem Hunt looked kind of like his former self. He's kind of looking like the old Kansas City Chief, Kareem Hunt. And then Javonte Williams over 64.5 rushing yards. Again, Panthers team, I think they're playing 5 or 6 undrafted free agents starting on their defense with all the injuries. like if you want to put a flyer on Javonte Williams, like $150 on the ground, like I would like that would be I think a perfectly fine bet to place because his defense is just so bad.
Awesome. Yeah, Shane's killing it on props, guys. If you want to hit up Shane on Twitter at Shane's Picks, killing it all for free on his Twitter page. Guy's a killer in terms of props. He does NBA and NFL. Hit him up on Twitter page. Getting a good following going so far with him. And yeah, so NFL Week 8 in the books. Hopefully, we get some good games here. The 4 o'clock window kind of slim in terms of good matchups here. We get the Bills and the Seahawks. But in terms of football, I mean, football in general is great to watch. What we do in the NFL for the Week 8 slate. And we'll catch you guys next week, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, every Sunday here. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next week. Peace out.
All right.